I'm standing at the edge of pit road, and something feels different about today. The race hasn't even started, and half the garage already looks like it has accepted a result before a single lap has been turned. What if the scariest part of a race isn't who wins? It's that everyone already expects it. There's a kind of dread that spreads through a paddock when one driver stops being a threat and starts being an inevitability. Crew chiefs aren't talking about winning strategies anymore. They're talking about survival, damage limitation. How close can we get without getting embarrassed? That's the atmosphere building around one driver heading into Sonoma Raceway in 2026. A driver so dominant on road courses that rivals aren't racing to beat him anymore. They're racing to see who finishes closest to him at the checkered flag. That driver is Shane Van Gisbergen. At Sonoma, Van Gisbergen led 74 of the 110 laps, securing his 8th career Cup Series win in just his 68th career start. Every single one of those 8 wins coming on a road or street course. The victory tied him with NASCAR Hall of Famer Tony Stewart for second most all-time road course wins in Cup Series history, sitting just one behind Jeff Gordon's record of 9. He also completed a full weekend sweep, having already won the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race the day before at the same track. He started the day from 6th on the grid, his lowest starting spot of the season on a road course, after being forced into an earlier qualifying group with worse track conditions following his DNF the week before. This wasn't a new storyline being written, it was the continuation of one that has followed him since he arrived in the Cup Series 3 years ago. Before this dominance keeps building, here's something worth mentioning. NASCAR Racing Central is closing in on 1,500 subscribers, and if you want breakdowns like this delivered the moment the checkered flag drops, hitting subscribe helps make that happen. Like, comment, and share the video if you're along for the ride with us. The psychological shift inside the garage has become impossible to ignore. Teams aren't asking how to beat Van Gisbergen anymore. They're asking how to limit the damage when he's on track with them. That mentality was tested just 1 week earlier at the San Diego Street Race, where Van Gisbergen entered as the overwhelming pole favorite and sportsbook pick, only to be eliminated in a multi-car wreck just 32 laps into the race. Even that setback couldn't slow the growing narrative around him. Across the 2026 season, Van Gisbergen has now won 7 of the last 9 road course races he has entered, and he remains the only driver to lead laps at every single road course event held this year. Bad luck interrupted his momentum for exactly 1 weekend. It didn't stop it, and he returned to Sonoma with a 63-point gain in the standings, closing his gap to the playoff cut line. The rivals who came closest to catching him at Sonoma told their own story of how thin the margin really is against him. Chase Briscoe finished second, just 0.357 seconds behind, after closing to within a foot of Van Gisbergen's rear bumper in the hairpin on the final lap of the race. Afterward, Briscoe said, "I felt like I definitely had the better car. I didn't do as good of a job as he did driving." He explained the exact moment that cost him a shot at the win, saying he mistimed my downshift and about spun out and went off the racetrack, adding, "If I don't make that mistake, I feel like I definitely pass him." He summed up the difficulty of racing Van Gisbergen wheel to wheel with one blunt line: "You've got to be perfect against him, and I wasn't perfect. That one is on me." Ty Gibbs started on pole and swept both opening stages of the race, leading 30 of the first 55 laps, and still finished only 3rd at the end of the day. Kyle Larson ran a consistent, competitive race from start to finish and still crossed the line 4th. Christopher Bell, racing with a broken wrist, still managed to finish 5th. Ryan Blaney rounded out 6th, while Connor Zilisch, Van Gisbergen's own rookie teammate at Trackhouse Racing, scored the first top 10 finish of his Cup Series career by crossing the line 7th. An entire field full of drivers turning in strong, disciplined runs, and not one of them found an answer to the number 97 car up front. The reaction across the sport has amplified the growing perception that Van Gisbergen now occupies a category of his own, on road and street courses. Coverage throughout the weekend repeatedly framed him as the driver every road course contender must now measure themselves against, with multiple outlets highlighting that he has become the winningest active Cup Series driver on road and street course events combined. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, who was spun early after contact from Carson Hocevar with 46 laps remaining, still finished the day taking over the points lead by a single point over Tyler Reddick, whose championship run was derailed entirely by a power steering failure that dropped him to a last-place finish in 36th, 4 laps down, despite still collecting the bonus point for fastest lap late in the race. Even as the title race shifted dramatically beneath him for the first time in 18 races, the conversation across the broadcast and posterous coverage kept circling back to the same driver standing in victory lane. There's also a layer of speculation building among fans and analysts that goes beyond raw talent alone. Theories about rivals studying simulator data more closely, whispers about shared setup notes between road course specialists on different teams, ideas that remain unconfirmed but continue fueling the mystery around just how repeatable this level of dominance really is. Van Gisbergen himself has consistently downplayed any perception of inevitability surrounding his results. After the Sonoma win, he admitted the car wasn't handling the way his team wanted for most of the afternoon, saying, "We had these shitboxes come out in front and they were wobbling all over the track and putting dust, and I just kept struggling." He credited his crew directly for turning the weekend around, adding, "We were really bad yesterday, and these guys did an amazing job turning this car into a winner." That's the unsettling part for everyone chasing him week after week. Even when he says the car wasn't right, even when he openly admits the day was difficult, he still finds his way to victory lane. He was candid about the emotional weight of the week leading into Sonoma as well, following his elimination at San Diego the weekend before. "I was back to normal by the weekend, but yeah, I was certainly pissed at the start of the week," he said. "This really makes up for it, sharing it with these guys. They went through it at the start of the week, pretty special to win. A driver processing frustration one week, then delivering a near-flawless performance the very next, and somehow making it look routine rather than remarkable. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next." Make sure to comment and share this video with anyone who's been following the road course storyline building around him this season. There are no road or street courses remaining over the final 18 races of the regular season, meaning Van Gisbergen's biggest test now shifts entirely to ovals, terrain where his 3 years of Cup Series experience remain far thinner than his road course resume. He acknowledged this reality himself after Sonoma. "I need to really step it up on the ovals. This is an oval championship, and I need to keep getting better at them." That leaves the road course dominance frozen in place for now. Unresolved, undefeated, and increasingly difficult for anyone in the garage to fully explain. Is this the start of a road course dynasty nobody currently in the field can stop? Or is somebody finally close to cracking the code before the season runs out of road courses to prove it on? Who do you think finally beats Van Gisbergen on a road course this season? And what will it actually take to do it? Drop your answer in the comments below.